not to hurt Danny. Sir, you still hurt. She still hurt because of you. She still hurt because of you. Meanwhile, Danny's still thinking about Bill. Haley was over at Danny's house looking for Bill. Told her she got her own husband. Stay away from her. I said, meanwhile, girl, the man is stalking her. Not stalking her, but stalking her husband. Watching him, having him followed. I forgot to mention that part. Bill is having Andre followed or whatever. Jacob may or may not suspect that something's going on between Joy and Vanessa. Anita ends up talking to Nicole about her marriage. Smitty ends up asking Martin to come home finally. And Nicole basically asked Smitty if he was sure about that. I said, now wait a minute, girl. Don't you come your tail over here stirring up trouble. I said they need to move on past this, but hey, y'all, welcome back to another review of Life of Chelsea for Beyond the Gates, October 9th, 2025. First things first, let me know y'all thoughts on this episode down below. What y'all think? That y'all like the episode? Okay, so the episode started with Bill. Once again, looking into Andre. He wants to tell on Andre, want him followed. He want to see his every movement. He trying to prove that this man is up to something, that he want to prove that he got another woman. I said, I wonder if he going to end up seeing Andre with Ashley or something. But yeah, he having him followed by, what's the dude name? Keegan. He having him followed by some dude named Keegan. He looked like he a new character because I don't remember seeing him. I might be wrong, but I don't remember seeing him. But they did say it's a new character coming. Greg Vaughn, did I say his name right? The guy that played Lucky up on General Hospital at one point. And not only that, he also played on Queen Sugar as well. He played on a few things actually. But yeah, he was looking into Andre, wants to tell on him. They show Andre and Danny in bed together once again. Donnell ends up asking Vanessa what's going on, but they smoothed it over. He over here giving his life story and stuff. Joey is talking about his mama. He had to deal with what happened with his mama because she wanted to, have plastic surgery or something like that. And I was like, don't be over here trying to manipulate him. He already had a daddy. He don't need you to play daddy for him. I said, what you, and he really didn't want to leave Vanessa. To myself, well, I guess I got to go or whatever. You just seeing how Jacob over here looking. I said, I can't tell if Jacob, I said, I can't tell if Jacob suspects something or that's just how he look. Because he always looking like he sees something or knows something. I said, I don't know if he actually putting two and two together or what. The way he was looking at, what's the name of that place? Uptown. The way he was looking, I was assuming he was putting two and two together, but he was just calm. He didn't reveal nothing, so I'm gonna wait until we actually see him away from Vanessa and Donnell. But yeah, also I can't tell by his facial expression if he if he suspects something. That's just how he look. But yeah, what else? Let's see. Nicole ends up talking to Anita about wanting to help Martin save his family. Martin and Smitty was on a date. Joey ends up telling Donnell that he saw Vanessa in the parking lot or whatever, and she was struggling, so he whisked her away. I said, liar. That's a liar. After Andre and Danny got out of bed together, I think she said she wanted some food, so he went to Orphan Jeans to get her some food. That's when they show her sitting down thinking about Bill again. And I said, here we go. I said, she ain't gonna never let this man go. But yeah, Haley was mad that Bill was working while at home. Now, for a second, I thought she heard everything that he was up to. The fact that he's looking into Andre, the fact that he's trying to get Andre out of Danny's life, the fact that he almost called Danny his wife again. I thought she heard it all. I thought she did, but no, she was mad because, he was still working at home and stuff like that. She tried to get him to spend some time. He told me he had a meeting. So she decided to call Caroline. Caroline over here snitch. I said, you're going to be out of a job sooner or later because you letting too much slip. You over here in cahoots with the wife and stuff like that. I said, you know your place, girl. I said, he going to replace you. But yeah, let's see. Yeah, did it end there? I don't know if it ended there. I know he said he had a meeting. I think he ended up leaving. That's when she called Caroline. Caroline verified there was no meeting, so she got mad, grabbed her purse and keys, and she went over to Danny's house. Joey ends up telling Donnell he knows how he feel because he lost his mother and stuff like that. He was looking into it for a while or whatever, trying to get him to drop it, trying to get him to drop the whole search and stuff like that. But I doubt he gonna drop it, especially with Vanessa over here talking about so she can't let him go. That's her friend, and she need her friends right now. You acting very suspicious. I said it won't take him long to put two and two together. The way Joey be around and don't want to leave. You said, he said he was walking you to the car. Next thing you know, y'all over here. And y'all all close and stuff. But yeah, he was just telling Donnell about his mother, trying to get him to drop it and stuff like that. He ends up thanking him. He was like, well, I got to go or whatever. And they was hugging. And Donnell looking, Jacob looking. And Jacob was looking at Joy and Vanessa hug, and it looked like it looked very suspicious the way she looking at him and stuff. Not looking at him, the way she was hugging him and she was telling him thank you for everything and all that stuff. It was an intimate hug. It wasn't no hug you just give nobody. You supposed to give him a side hug. You supposed to give him a side hug. She all up on this man. But yeah, she all up on this man or whatever. Anita ends up saying how she thinks Nicole is questioning the state of her heart. She was still talking about how she don't want to love again because of the whole Ted situation. Keegan ends up texting Bill Andre location. Oh, I did skip ahead. I knew I was skipping ahead. Yeah, Keegan takes Bill Andre location. That's when he said he had to go. Caroline ends up telling Haley there's no meeting. Anita ends up telling Nicole that she needs to date. She had 5 dudes back in her day. She had 5 gentlemen callers back in her day. She said she was pulling them. She said she was pulling them. But yeah, what else? What they say, Martin? I can't understand my writing. Martin ends up saying he's scared they'll never be the same. I said, you need I said, Martin, pull it together. Pull it together. You can't make him be ready for what you ready for. You keep on trying. It's like he switched. I understand he did the right thing when he walked out because Smitty don't know what he want, obviously. Or he didn't know what he wanted first. So I agree with that. But you over here study trying to rush him and stuff. You either gonna give him time or you're not gonna give him time. Like, let it go. You can't make him. But he did end up asking him to come home. He did end up asking him to come home or whatever. Donnell ends up asking if he ends up like Doug because he was like, maybe he shouldn't be drinking because, you know, that's what happened to his daddy. And she was like, no, he wasn't an alcoholic. That was only the symptom. He had addiction to gambling. They show Andre picking up Danny food and stuff, and Bill just can't stick. Bill just can't stood behind. I said, "Oh, tall self." I said, "Oh, skyscraper." I said, "Oh, tall self." I said, "Why he come stand behind him like they're trying to intimidate him because you tall? Don't nobody care around here. We chop down trees around here. No, we chop down trees around here." But yeah, I said, look, he just stood behind him. He turned around. He was talking about he got to go, and that's when Bill started interrogating him. That's why he started interrogating him. Vanessa ends up telling Donnell that Doug wasn't an alcoholic. We talked about that. They showed Haley she was at Danny's house looking for Bill. She checked in what's that, the cabinet? I was like, girl, now how his big tall tail gonna be in the cabinet? Now how is he gonna fit? I know. What's that, a cabinet? It looked like a kid that's in that. Where would he hide? She don't open the door, calling upstairs and stuff like that. Come on, I know you hearing all this other stuff. Then she called Danny to be where, told her she got her own husband, stay away from hers. And Danny was just telling her, you know, it's not so nice, is it? I told you, I warned you, or whatever. And she implied that it may be somebody from work, or it may even be Caroline or whatever, and stuff like that. But yeah, what else? Bill basically ends up trying to call Andre a player and insinuate that he's a gold digger and he had the money and stuff like that. And Andre ends up telling him basically that's your thing or whatever. You basically started out with nothing. He was like, watch yourself or whatever. He thought he was gonna intimidate him. I said, what you thought, Bill? I said, what you thought, Bill? Well, yeah, he was like, I'm taking better care of my wife than you ever did. I said, that's right. Tell him off and then go on back home to your wife. I mean, your wife wants her ex-husband, but still. And you want Ashley, so, you know, y'all in the same boat. But yeah, he was like, I'm taking better care of my wife than you ever did. I said, right on. Martin ends up going to the house to tell Anita that Smitty asked him to come home, and she was just excited for him. Nicole was at the house when Smitty got there. She was like, she was looking for the kids, but he said they was gone. So he ends up telling her that he asked Martin to come home. She was like, are you sure about that? Are you sure you ready to give marriage a try? I said, don't you come your tail over here stirring up trouble and causing problems now. They finally finna put this to the rest for now until Joey want what he want. I said, now you going on figure out your situation before you try to give somebody advice. But she was just saying she don't think Martin could handle the back and forth and the uncertainty and all. But he ain't got no choice, really. I said, he did it. Well, it wasn't his fault. It was his fault that he lied. Now, it was his fault that he lied and stuff like that and kept it from him. But yeah, but she ended up being excited. She ends up hugging him, saying she happy that they working on their marriage. Donnell ends up telling Vanessa that she doesn't have to look to strangers or outsiders for support. He's there now. He was talking about Joey. So she was like, oh, Joey's not an outsider. He's my business partner, and I need my friends right now. I'm not letting them go. I was like, girl. Then I skipped the part. Because when Joey got up to say he about to go, she was like, no, you can't go. Girl, just tell Jacob that y'all had a thing going on. Tell him everything. I can't. Maybe she just in shock. Because she don't seem to really. She did question him and ask him if he did it. But why would he admit it? But think about everything Doug was trying to do. Threatening him and stuff like that. Come on now. Something ain't clicking. But yeah, She didn't want him to go. She jumped up talking about some, no, do you have to go? Girl, Donnell over here, he don't know what to think. He just looking like he looking. He just looking how he looking. I think that was in the last scene. I think Andre and Danny end up talking about Bill and Haley. She ends up telling that Haley came looking for Bill or whatever, and he ends up telling that Bill was with him, and she had a look on her face. I was like, see, this is where you mess up at. She should have told him before everything when they started talking about their marriage and staying together and all this other stuff. Well, I think they had already talked about staying together. She should have told him that they kissed. Don't ever give nobody no chance to one up you. Y'all know I said it all the time. She should have told that they kids. I mean, they ain't got no real marriage as of right now, but I'm assuming that they gonna end up catching real feelings for each other. But I might be wrong about that. We'll see. We'll see. Cause so far they've been saying how they've been honest. They've been telling everybody how they've been honest with each other and stuff like that. But she didn't tell that, did she? Just because Bill asked you to keep it a secret. Just because Bill asked you to keep it a secret, you gonna trust him? You gonna trust him? But yeah, that's it. That's all. Let me know y'all thoughts down below. Stay tuned for the next review. Until next time, deuces, have a great rest of the day and be safe.